showing you guys 10 different toys or otherwise really useful items you can make from trash lying around your house. Some of these items are crafts that you can do when you're bored, and I know some of you may really enjoy. But either way, in this video, you're gonna learn how to reuse things for your own good and how to be as resourceful as possible. So if you guys are ready, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. For those of you who buy a lot of clothes, you would know that sometimes buttons pop off really easily. So with those buttons, you can actually, and also with some string, you could actually make this super creative button bracelet. I got the idea to make this from a book that I read a couple years ago, and even though I've never actually once worn this because it's super big, I really enjoyed doing this craft, and I think it's a really great way to use up buttons that you were otherwise going to throw away. Similarly, if you also ate a lot of popsicles when you were younger, kind of like I did, you would have a lot of popsicle sticks lying around. Most of those would end up in trash. However, you can make really great and useful boxes out of them, like the one I have here. All you need is a base, some glue, and then you can stack popsicle sticks on top. I actually have 2 of these, and I use them for storing dental stuff as well as crafting stuff. These have been super useful, and you can even decorate them with markers if you'd like. It turns out there are a lot of things you can do with beads, but if you don't want to make jewelry and you also have a bunch of safety pins lying around, you can actually make this keychain. This, I also got the idea from a book. I used it on my backpack in high school, thought it was a really cute, really great decoration for it. You basically just put 6 safety pins, loop them through another one, and put beads on each of them. Just like I have, you can make the sides a little different from the safety pins in the middle. This next item has been super useful for me. And all you need is a magnet, some clothespins, double-sided tape, and also a decorating piece of paper if you'd like. It's basically just a magnet with pins on it. You can stick this on your fridge, stick little sticky notes or other notes in there. Super useful. I would highly recommend making this one. A lot of the things you'll see in this video are great crafts you can do if you simply just want to do something hands-on or simply just want to be creative. For these next 2 items, I have found ways to repurpose everyday ordinary things. The first one has been very useful for me, and that is egg cartons. You can literally just rip an egg carton apart and put something in each 12 of the little holders. For example, in this one, I have mostly some hair stuff as well as some other clips and even crayons in here. But yeah, egg cartons have been super useful for me. Here's another one in which I put some nails and other small materials in there. Another much prettier thing to repurpose happens to be tissue boxes. I remember when I was younger, I used to love collecting tissue boxes simply because the print on most of them were so gorgeous. For example, here I have one in which I just cut off the top and put a bunch of stuff in. I have another one here which I have decorated in a very beautiful way. You can decorate these tissue boxes in any way you would like. I remember when I was in elementary school, this one girl used to collect tissue boxes so she could cut hearts out of them, in which she put in for Valentine's Day, which I thought was super creative. Here's another one that I have that is very shiny and very beautiful. But yeah, both egg cartons and tissue boxes are great for organization, which is what I love about them, and you can also customize them in any way you would like. For these next 2 items you can make from trash, I'm going to show you guys how to repurpose old toys that you may have from your childhood. Starting off with clay and Play-Doh. If you're like me, you played with clay and Play-Doh literally your entire childhood. It was a huge part of mine, and to this day I still have some old cups of that stuff left. out of which I was actually able to make these erasers. These are just a couple examples that I have. I was also able to make small dishes, and I even put some Mod Podge over them to make them kind of sturdy. I usually use these for like jewelry since they're too small for anything else. And lastly, I was also able to make these small decorations for this flower pot. And if you also loved coloring in your childhood, you probably have those super obnoxious small crayon stumps left over, out of which you can make candles. And my personal favorite project that I ever did, I took small crayon pieces, sort of like mowed them down, sprinkled the little pieces over a piece of clothing and melted them with an iron to make this adorable little outfit. Anyway, now I just want to take a minute to talk about fabric because the possibilities are literally endless with that stuff. And what I mean by that is with fabric, you can literally create hair clips as long as you have clips and some decorating items. If you have some stuffing, you can create these very adorable mini pillows. You can create clothing for dolls that you might have, like the ones that I have in this backpack. You can create quilts, just like the one that I have here, and yes, this is an actual quilt that I created from fabric pieces. And lastly, if you're super artsy, you could even create wall hangings if you have these embroidery hoops and some paint. Now, the last toy from trash that I wanted to talk about is actually one of my personal favorites, and that's because I used to do this all the time when I was a kid. If you have some plain salt cans that you're about to throw away, when I was younger, I used to take construction paper, cover the entire can or container with it, and then decorate it and make it a mini drum. I used to do this all the time when I was younger. It was one of my favorite crafts, one of my favorite pastimes, and I had so much fun. So if your kid also loves crafting, or if you're someone who loves crafting, I would highly recommend giving that a try as well. In fact, with a can, one of those large containers of peanuts, I actually made that into a drum and took it to my school for this instrument-like thing that we had, in which we had to make our own handmade instruments, and turns out mine was actually the loudest one there, which in a way was kind of successful. Anyway, that is my 10 toys you can make from trash video. I hope you guys learned how to be more resourceful in your day-to-day lives, and I truly do hope that you'll try some of these things out for yourselves. Just a quick note, have some fun while you're at it, and make sure to be as creative, as imaginative as possible.